Hello, fanatics! Welcome back to Fanatically Obsessed. It's me, Sue, your host through the world of everything you're obsessed with. At least what I'm obsessed with. You're here, so by default it's yours as well. It's been a few months since the con. It was in June, and now it's August. It's almost September. And after the con, it was like a whole bunch of shit just went crazy. I already have a really poor concept and sense of time, so I kept forgetting to do the video and going around to do the video, and like I had work to do and this and that. Like I'm still working on commissions, taking new commissions. I'm doing a whole bunch of things, but I wanted to do the video because I just love talking about it, the whole thing. Now, if you've been here for a while, if you follow me on anything, if you're just a friend in general, you know that the convention, I'd been saving and working and planning to go to Texas Comic-Con since December, January. And the sole reason was to meet Jeffrey Combs. And I worked so hard, and I had so many emotional and mental breakdowns and setbacks, and there were times that I just wanted to give up, and it was really horrible and dark for a while in some aspects of doing it, and I don't want to get into it right now, but yeah. And then I was able to go to the, I went to the convention, okay? It was, I was only there Friday, Saturday, no wait, I went Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so like 3 days. And I left early on Saturday because the whole time I was up there, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, and it was nuts. My body was already giving out on me, and I was feeling sick, and we'll get to that. It was without a doubt the most stressful thing I've ever done, and I did it all on my own. I worked on my own. I saved money, I had a plan, I did everything, and the only thing that saw me through so many of those dark times was Jeffrey Combs himself. Mr. Combs, so many times, legitimately saved my life during those dark, depressing times. He still to me is a source of hope and motivation and just a whole bunch of good things he is. And I guess it's better to tell the story. I'm gonna try not to make it long, but I do tend to ramble, so we got there on Thursday. We left Thursday morning, and we got there sometime around noon. Hotel, it was the best. I mean, the trip up, I live in the Rio Grande Valley. It's flat as flat can be down here. And when it got to San Antonio, there's hills and there's expressways that are like over one another. Like here, maybe you'll get one expressway over the other because they overlap like this. But over there, there's twisty turnies, and the barriers were so thin and they weren't even that tall. And I told like, oh, let's not go on those, and somehow we ended up on them anyway. And I'm surprised I didn't pass out because I have not felt real fear with a cause, because normally when you have an anxiety or panic disorder, you just feel fear for no reason. But this was legitimate fear and heights, and it doesn't help that when you're on these expressways that are up in the air and there's sharp turns, it says to slow down or else you can fall over the edge. Like there are legit signs that say that, and I was like, Jesus Christ, get me off of this. We finally made it to the hotel, and it was in that moment that I could feel pride for my accomplishments, because I had bought the tickets, I had paid for the hotel, I bought groceries and this and everything, and to still have money left over to do what I wanted at the con and to buy things. And I remember I finished with the dude at the front desk, and I'm a shaking mess because for one, I was anxious the whole time on the way up here. Two, there's the expressways and everything. And just the fact that I'm up here. Because if you have any sort of mental disorder, there is fear of leaving your comfort zone, and it can really just keep you in this place. And I was able to do this on my own. Like, this is the first time, I mean, yeah, John, my husband, was with me, but this is the first time in my life I'd ever done something and saw it through and it happened. And so we get there and we get ourselves comfortable with the area, and we're lucky there was like a grocery on the other side of the expressway. And we stayed, there's like fucking hills in San Antonio. Our whole Motel 6 was like on a hill next to a McDonald's here, then here's the road, and then everything's just sloping, and we went to like a Salvation Army Goodwill, and there's just so many slopes, and by the end of it, our legs we're not used to hills. They could have been mountains for all I care. I saw a Krispy Kreme. Yeah, on to the next. Thursday was basically just a let's get acclimated to everything day and get comfortable. And it's so nice because hotel, I didn't have to clean anything, and it was such a big bed, and it was so comfortable. And then Friday was the day of the con. Get up super early. Get up at like 8. We got up like so early, and then we went to the Mall of America, or whatever it's called, the something of Nations. I don't know what they call the mall there. It's the Norris Conference Center was where it is, and we get there super early, like 4 hours before they're even taking regular admission tickets. I'm all dolled up and everything. I didn't have this nice haircut. I had like an undercut. And I was so nervous. Like crazy nervous. Because it's one thing when you're going through all these months of hardship and Jeffrey Combs, you're getting me through this and I must do this. And it's another thing to know that you're in the same area as this person that you're so looking forward to meeting, and they're there. There's walls keeping you separated right now, but they're there. So I would have been just fine waiting in line, because by the time we got there, a line was already forming, but we got there in the front, and the line was like all the way out the doors. And as soon as I got my ticket, I headed straight to the celebrity room, because I didn't care about, like, what else was there. I didn't care. The whole point of being there was Jeffrey Combs. I worked months. I totally messed up my, like, sleepless nights and horrible food, like nothing but sweets and crap to keep me going, and it's like, I'm here for Jeffrey Combs. I couldn't care less about the toys, about other celebrities, whatever else you have here. For me, it's all about the Jeffrey Combs. Because up until I actually got there, I had no support from family or anybody really that I could actually do it. Most people, like, oh, everybody, Jesus, they were just like, you just don't go. Why are you stressing yourself out and you don't go? And I'm like, would you shut up? This is really important to me, and you're not being supportive at all, and you're such a jerk. And I found the celebrity room, and once I knew that we could go and, like, talk to them or get autographs and stuff, I waited outside the room, because there's, like, the door here, and there were 2 security guards on either side of the door. And you waited outside until whoever was with the current celebrity you wanted to see left. This way everybody sort of had a little one-on-one time with them, instead of, like, this huge line. And I'm waiting there. I've got my backpack, and I'm holding my binder, which has, like, stuff I want him to sign and things I want to show him. And I'm a shaking mess. I'm there, and I'm just like, oh my god. And I remember at one point I sort of leaned in, and I saw him shake somebody's hand, and I saw the profile of his face. And I was like, oh my god, he's real. Because, come on, I've never met anybody in any sense who's a celebrity or somebody I admired in any meaning of the word. And there he is in the room, and he's there. And the security were so nice, and they were talking to me to help me calm down, and the whole weekend they were so nice to me. I don't know, like, so many people make me feel bad because, like, just so many people make me feel bad about a bunch of things. And finally I went in there and I was quiet for like, as soon as I got, he looked at me so expectantly, and I was just like, and like he was waiting for me to talk. And John had, I don't know how he, because when I was waiting in line he wasn't there, but when I got in he was. And he like elbowed me and I was like, oh yeah, and I'm talking to him, and the first time I'm a shaking, stuttering mess, and I'm like, oh my god, Mr. Combs, and could you say this, and I had drawings, and one of the drawings was of Ratchet dressed as the Question that I had done in February for Robots in Suits February, and he had favorited it on Twitter, and I made 2 copies, one that he could sign that I could keep, and one he could keep for whatever he wants to do with it. And we sort of had a little conversation about that because he didn't remember favoriting it, and I'm like, oh, well, you're a busy man, it's okay. And there's just so many things that happened. I had it in the picture, and at the time my nails were, I did them in neon yellow French tips, themed after the Question with like question marks and stuff. And he was like, oh, let me see your nails. And I was like, here you go. And it was, he asked me, like, who did them? And I was like, I did them myself, but this is the Question. He was so nice, and he was like, they look great, and I can't believe you did that yourself. Like, well, I don't know if I can't, like, you probably can, I don't know you. And signatures were like $20. I wanted to give him all my money, but, you know, I couldn't. It was still the first day. But he signed my copy. I don't know if you can see it very well with the lighting in here. And I framed it. It's Ratchet dressed as the Question, and he signed my name. I remember when he was writing my name, because I told him, because he was like, what's your name? And I said, you can just write Kathy, because most people can't spell or write my name, despite how simple it is. And he was like, well, what's your name? Like, Kathleen. And, you know, he's like, can you spell, he's not rude or anything, it was really nice, and he was like, can you spell it out? And I was like, K-A-T-H hyphen. And he sort of like hovered over the hyphen, like a name with a hyphen. And I was like, hyphen, capital L-Y-N-N. And he spelled it, and he put his 2 catchphrases here, is Ratchet in the Question. As the Question, he wrote, it's all a conspiracy. And as Ratchet, he wrote, I needed that. And then he signed it. There's like 4 signatures on here. There's my signature on the art. Here's his signature, Jeffrey Combs. Then he signed it as Ratchet and the Question. And I love it. Because this isn't even what I wanted to give him as the art. But since I was so busy with commissions and time was just, I couldn't even do the proper nail art I wanted. I had to go with something simpler. But that's what happened the first time. I actually met him 3 times the first day, and once on Friday. I mean Saturday. This is Friday I'm talking about. And I had told him, I couldn't remember when I first met him what I wanted to tell him because there was so much that I wanted to say. And I came back a second time and he recognized me. He didn't get my name right, but Susan sounds like Kathleen. And that's fine. Most people can't remember me at all, like my family. So I came back with the Ratchet Beast Hunters toy, and I was like, Mr. Combs, I remember what I wanted to tell you. And he's like, well, lay it on me. I don't think he said lay it on me. And I said that it was so important for me to be there and to see him and to actually have done this because of like my anxiety and my depression and my panic. And I went, and when I mentioned these things, it's like tears in my eyes, I'm sorry. When I mentioned these things, he held his hand up like, stop. And I was like, oh no, he doesn't want to hear this, or it doesn't matter. And he like leaned in. Oh, sorry. He leaned in and he told me that I was smart I was smart for being able to understand and acknowledge what these things do to me, and that the one thing that mattered the most is that I was there. I was there right then, and that's what mattered. That I was there and I was with him and that I had done it. And he was, I thanked him so much. Like, it's crazy. And I got him to sign my Beast Hunters ratchet, and he had never seen this toy before. I'd never seen this toy before. And I told him that I like to think that this is Ratchet constantly on Synthen, like he takes it daily. And he seemed to like that idea because he was looking at it and he was like, yeah, I can totally see it like this. And I was like, and he's, again, my name and the hyphen, and he wrote my name and long live Cybertron. And then he wrote his name and signed it as Ratchet. And I keep this, like, where all my Transformers is. There's a space. I have a little space over here for all my Jeffrey Combs things, which is just like 3 things. And that was the second time. I forgot to mention in the first time I met him, I had politely, like, I was really polite. I know a lot of people were like, "Is you crazy?" And it's like, no, I was super polite and nervous, but I still remembered my etiquette and my manners. I have those. They taught them in high school. And the first time, because it was like noon, and the picture signing was at like 1:30. Not the picture signing. Taking the professional photo op with the celebrity was like an hour or so away. And I asked him, like, "Mr. Combs, would it be okay if after the photo I could get a hug?" And this, the part I remember most vividly, because I was like, whoa! He literally bounced out of his chair and started walking around the table, and he had his arms out, and he was like, "Why don't I give you a hug right now?" And I had no idea what to do. He came up to me and he gave me a hug, and my arms were just kind of like, ah! And I think I remember saying, "Oh my god," and I was just like, "Oh my god." And he's so nice. And then we took the photo, and here's the photo. The lights are probably, I've got 2 copies of this, because when I was the first one to take a photo with any celebrity, I was the first one there, like, I want a photo with Jeffrey Combs. And we get there, and I had no idea what to do with my hands. I had no idea he'd be this close to me. I was like, oh, what do I do? And he came right up to me, and I was like, "Mr. Combs, what do I do with my hands?" And he grabbed me by the waist, and he pulled me into like a side hug, and he was like, "Call me Jeff," because up until that point I'd been calling him Mr. Combs, and I still call him Mr. Combs because I haven't earned the right to call him by his first name. That's just how I am. And I just put my hand behind him, and we took a photo the first time, but there was a problem with the camera, so I got to take another photo, and that's the one here, and he's the cutest, patootiest of the everythings. He's so nice. He's, I don't want to say he's tiny, but like, I don't know, he's of short stature. I mean, he's taller than me. And I got to get 2 copies of this because there were camera problems, so they gave me 2 copies. And so I have one here framed, and when I see him again, because I'm gonna see him again. I'm gonna go to another convention, I'm gonna be like, "Mr. Combs." No, I'm not gonna be drunk. Like, "Mr. Combs, please sign this photo of that time you probably won't remember at all." And I keep this copy in my collection, and I keep the other copy in my purse, just in case. It's sort of like a pick-me-up, like, remember the things you did. And I also talked to him a third time on the way to pick up the photo afterwards. And after we took that photo, he gave me a hug. And I asked him if, in his ratchet voice, which is just his voice, if he could tell me that everything would be alright, because life is, like, I'm not saying just my life is hard, but at the time, and probably still, there's so much that goes on. And he was so, he probably, I don't know, he put his hand on my shoulder and he gave me a big smile, and in his ratchet voice he told me, everything's gonna be alright. Have faith in Cybertron. And I thanked him, and I went about the convention, just waiting until the photo was done, and then I talked to him a third time. It was really quick. I talked to him a third time. And then we went to the Alamo and the Riverwalk. It was later that I found, like, so many other things. I don't want to keep, like, Friday was the most important day. I woke up and I was sick to my stomach. I had no idea what was wrong. I thought I was going to throw up. I really needed to go home. So we went to the convention, and I sort of like just not laid down, but I sat in the cafeteria part of the mall and just waited till my stomach stopped making me want to die. And then we walked around and did some stuff, and I realized I wouldn't be able to make it to his Q&A panel, which I was really looking forward to going to. And John was doing one more sweep of the dealer's rooms, and in my sick haze of thought process, I was like, I need to leave Jeffrey Combs a note. Like, I need to tell him I can't make it to the panel. So I went around and I'm asking people, like, can I borrow a sheet of paper or a little piece of paper? Can I borrow a pen? And I'm writing him a little note, and it's like, dear Mr. Combs, and I don't want to brush it off like, what a stupid note, but I wrote what I couldn't really properly convey or say, like, thank you so much for helping me, even though, like, you have no idea what you've done for me, and doing this and coming here and just meeting you, and it's the most amazing thing that I've ever done in my life. And so many people around me want to diminish what it did for me as a person. Like, they call me crazy or obsessive, and I'm like, I know when to have fun and to be silly, but I also know when to be respectful of the people I admire. And I like to think I was really respectful. I didn't really do, like, I don't think I did anything wrong. And so I just left him I left him a note. I was so sick. And it was Saturday. Like, on Friday I was able to meet him 3 times because there weren't that many people. But Saturday, everybody was there. So many con-goers, and there was a line just to get into the celebrity room. So I was like, I'll just leave this note and these extra drawings I did for him with the security, and they could give it to him whenever. So I walk up to the security, and they're the same security from the day before. And I'm like, can you give these to Mr. Combs, because I can't. And he kind of just looks into the celebrity room, and he's like, you can go give it to him yourself. There's not that many. He's almost done. And I was like, thank you. It's like, I just bypassed this whole line of people. And I get in there, and I'm waiting in the little line, and then he's there. I don't know if he recognized me or not. I don't want to make myself too important. Like, I just can't. And I told him, like, Mr. Combs, I can't make it to the panel. My body's giving out on me. I have to go home, and I'm really sorry. I don't know why I felt like apologize. Like, I can't go to a thing that you're doing I'm not important to you whatsoever, but I thought I'd let you know and leave a note and some drawings I made for you. And so I did. And he looked so concerned for my well-being. And again, I tell the story to people and they want to diminish it and make it horrible and make me feel bad. Because obviously I shouldn't feel as though anybody should be concerned or care about me in any sense of the word, right? But he sort of like took my hand and he told me everything was going to be okay and like, it's okay, it's alright. And I was so sick. I just walked in and I walked out. I didn't even ask for a hug. I didn't say anything else. And then on the drive home, I'm like crying. I'm silently crying. And when I finally get home, I just broke down and was crying, and it's like, it's hard for me to say why I was crying. I mean, it was a big goal, a big accomplishment of what I've done, of my own abilities, and knowing I can do what I set out to do no matter how many people tell me I can't or it's impossible. And then for it to finally happen, and then for it to be so over. And I remember the one thought that went through my head that made me cry was that I was never going to see him again. Because when's he going to come back? When's he going to be somewhere that I can reach? And I don't know. But it took me a long time to even make myself believe that that doesn't mean I won't see him again. And I look forward to it. I'm fairly sure he's not going to remember me at all, but that's okay. Like, that's seriously okay. You don't have to remember me. You don't have to remember my name, or my face, or anything. Because what's most it's not that it's a celebrity, or somebody who's done this, or I don't want your attention, or anything else really, because that's not fair to any human being to just want it. I would be happy just to be in your presence, because you're probably, let me just address you, Mr. Combs, really quickly in this video. I highly doubt you're ever going to see it, but it's just something I want to say. I do doubt that you remember me, and I know it's not as important to you or maybe to anybody else who I try to talk to or have understand why it's so important to me. And it isn't that you're ratchet or you're the question or the actors. I mean, the characters you portray, you're an amazing actor with an amazing range that can elicit emotion from the viewer of what you're doing. But it's dumb, and I'm pretty sure I said that a million times when I spoke to you. That to me, you're Jeffrey Combs. I'd be more than happy to simply watch you. You wouldn't have to speak to me. You wouldn't have to do anything, really. I just like to see you. Because, like I said earlier, to me, it's probably also selfish to say to me, but for months, you were the hope that helped in so many ways that you can't possibly fathom or understand. And you were so nice and kind, and you were, I guess, accepting of the circumstance I spoke about and everything, and you seemed really concerned when I did speak to you, and you were supportive on what I said, and I can't, even alone here when there's no one to judge, I can't properly say or even understand myself the importance of it. All I can say is, whether you knew or not, you helped make me, well, not make me, but you helped me understand that I'm capable. And yeah, there were a lot of tears and crying when I came home. But I wouldn't change the outcome of anything that I did. And I really hope I can meet you again. And I can tell you things change, or tell you that I've done even more amazing things. And it's only going to matter to me that I tell you, and it's been a really long journey of realizing that it's okay for me to be proud of what I do. And it's okay to just be me. So I hope that wherever you are, Mr. Combs, you're continuing to do what you love, because I'm going to continue to do what I love. And you'll still be this piece of hope and this little light that tells me that I can. And it's amazing. So, I probably got all real gushy there at the end, and I'm sorry. Just a gushy person. It was an amazing trip. It was an amazing experience. I did so much I didn't think I was capable of. And I got to meet a man that I admire for his skill and his talent and for his character. And I really do hope I get to meet him again. And maybe we'll talk a little longer, I don't know. So, that's how I met Jeffrey Combs. Texas Comic-Con 2014, the 30th year anniversary of Transformers. And he was an utter delight. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. This man is a treasure of adorable and kindness. And if you get hugs from him, I guarantee you that they will be the best hugs, because, like I said, the whole time I was there, I was a complete wreck. Constantly anxious, panicked, everything. He hugged me twice, and both times in those few seconds, there wasn't any fear or panic or anything. So, I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope the emotional bits weren't dumb. And if they were, that's your problem. Because this was hugely emotional for me, especially if you'd been following my little journey up until the point, and even after. So, I guess I'll conclude it there. So, this is Sue, signing off, reminding you to stay fanatically obsessed.